Hello, my mimics, and welcome back to the Mimic Commentary, episode 60. And that was a really spooky looking Mimics Veil thing. Last episode, we were traveling through, what do you call it? Ainsel River, part 1. What did we learn? I think I got to recall correctly. I didn't review my notes from the last episode. We learned that down here, we got our Celestial Dew. This one's huge. I don't want to talk about this really too much in depth until we go back to the Church of Vows. There were some pretty good comments on Celestial Dew. So I'm gonna hold off on talking about that. I think the craziest thing was the grace of gold bless those who were first to serve it with its most vivid coloration, and then we found it down here. Yeah, I think the idea we're going with is that Radigan's people, assumedly Radigan's people, were exploring this underground, trying to figure out what's happening, Hey man, the frickin' Erd Tree, not eternal apparently. These moon people, they know some things. And you come down here and what the holy hell is that thing? First, I want to bring up, we have Dew-Kissed Herba, okay? So, found in and around the Eternal City, soaked in arcane dew, gives off the faint glow of starlight. Very, very interesting when we think of Celestial Dew as well. Once upon a time, the stars of the night sky guided fate, and this is a recollection of those times, also known as a night tear, a hidden tear. Then we see this thing. Now, what do you explain this? Just what we're looking at? First off, we find our Dew-Kissed Herba. Our Dew-Kissed Herba is silver. This is gold. Our larval tears, they're silver. This guy is silver. Okay? And he's down here. Almost completely colorless, except for that eye. Just breaking down what we're looking at. It has, what does that look like? It's got a human skull with like pincers and a giant third eye within the skull, and it has gray hair. So it's kind of human-like in appearance, and it has this like eye looking around. That is so creepy. It has like a third eye, so it knows some things, I guess. It's made of these silver balls and has like are those like, they look like Saturn's rings, kind of. Like these balls are kind of like rocks, maybe. They're very glowy. At the end of its tail, I guess it's supposed to be in the ceiling, but it's kind of just floating here. It has insect wings. And how many arms? It has 6 arms. And the arms have, the hands have 6 fingers. 6 fingers, 6 arms. If we think about our weapons, where is it? Our Cincadea. The design celebrates a beast's 5 fingers, symbolic of the intelligence granted upon their kind. So 5 fingers is intelligence. This has 6 fingers and like a third eye. So this thing is an intelligent life form that, that we aren't aware of. It's probably more intelligent than us, but it's bug-like. And it's also down here, and it's silver, leading me to believe, some artificiality. Maybe this is some type of mimic creation of some sort. We should be near an eternal city. We don't know where it comes from, what it's supposed to be, but it's very scary, very menacing. Is it as old as the Claymen? Is it as old as the ancient dynasty? Ever seen a dead guy there? He probably got killed by the, it's us. Alright, and it has the power to shoot rocks at us. I want to see it do that animation again. So it's using some purpley magical power to shoot rocks at us. So far, do I have the Ash of War? I think I have the Ash of War on a weapon. So I'll have to take that off. And anything else that's kind of like... The only thing that kind of like has that color would be like the gravity stone chunks, shard of rock found in the wake of a meteorite strike. We can't assume that this is meteor magic yet, but he's a scary guy, very scary. You know, we don't really know much about him yet, other than this is some eldritch horror hidden underground. Now, we could just start speculating. What could that mean for discovering this? You know, down here we have these men made of clay who share prophecies, and then we have this monster with 6 fingers, 6 arms. You know, this is in the Lost episode, but the Wraith Callers have 4 arms. The Royal Revenants have a lot of arms. Godric grafted a lot of arms to his body. And Rena the Witch looked like she was in a doll, and she had 4 arms. So maybe there's some type of, I don't know, like religiosity, or maybe it's tied to intelligence or power, having so many arms. Ooh. What's he doing there? Oh, it's just a regular attack. Here, let me Wraith Call him. See what that does. Doesn't do much. He actually doesn't have that much health. I want to try and... I don't want to lose my rune arc, so I got to make sure I can get this spinning slash off on him. Oh, jeez. Is he going to hit me? Yeah, okay, he can hit me. I shouldn't be afraid, though. I have... Oh! Poke him in the eye. There we go. Not that tough. And let's get a look out. Yeah, we could see these explorers probably all died. Yeah, in this one spot because of this monstrosity, because of this monster. What can we see from up here? You know, was this maybe venerating? There's just up there. Was this maybe venerating this thing? Like, was this a thing to be worshipped by these people? Did it come here after? You know, we can't say yet. Really can't say. In here, this kind of gives me like storage vibes, like these things, these obelisks and stuff are built here, maybe, and then stored to be brought to other places. If we want to look at them again, you know, now we have glowstone, so let's take a look, see if we learned anything new. I'm seeing 2 lions holding fire, like lions or bears or something. Then this one I see a bull with a wheel on its back, maybe the 4 seasons. Here we have people standing. I don't know if you're supposed to look these top down or bottom up. If you look bottom up, like I'm getting wise men in like a hall. Then these people have babies, maybe holding babies, giving them to people. Maybe baptism, blessing the babies. Then, don't know what's going on here. Maybe death rituals, maybe birth, planting trees, and then special tree. Right? I'm getting special tree from this. It's got a spiral. It's hard to say what that is. Now this one too. Like, what's the order? Or is it prophecy? You know, that frickin' our guy who holds the tablets, you know, he could be a prophet of some sort. Maybe this is foretelling the future. Are these the divine towers? Are they ships on the ocean? You know, what are those? Can't tell. Can't really tell right now. But since we know prophecy exists, and then we have these oracles, or these laymen down here, these priests who are sharing this religion about these oracles, and they're made of clay. I'm getting, you know, I'm getting kind of like, I'm getting some prophecy stuff. We're getting some prophecy stuff. So, you know, it could always be a case that when we're looking at like reliefs of these ancient times, are they showing a history of what is, a history of what was, what they thought would be? You know, we can't say for certain until we get more information, you know? So we got to figure out, are they showing something that happened? Like when they make that, when they made these reliefs, had those things already had happened, or were they waiting for them to happen? All right, what these guys have? What do you poor adventurer have? Fur calling finger remedy. This guy was looking for help. Ain't no help down here, buddy. Anything else interesting down here? Oh, there actually is. Yes, there is. A lot of magic trees, shield grease. I don't think we can craft them yet, but since they're magic, you know, I get faux sorcery from them. There is something down here we have to find. Woo! Bubbles from above. I guess I don't really need to fight these guys. They're not really causing much trouble. I think what I'm looking for is right here, though. Yeah, here we go. This is kind of hidden. Little hidden item. Little centipede. So we know a Golden Order fundamentalist was down here. Or they were... Or... it's not that a Golden Order fundamentalist down here. They could have been... Either these people were worshiping those symbols then, because remember, we found this in Shifra, that we found this... The centipede has been found in 3 spots so far. It's been found at the Church of Pilgrimage, where the Radigan statue is, and remember, the Radigan statue there is in front of a... what do you call it? By the prophecy painting that shows the Chapel of Anticipation, giving us some indication that Radigan is aware of the burning of the Erd Tree prophecy. There was also bewitching branches of Mikola in that area, giving some indication that this demigod Mikola might be aware of the burning of the Erd Tree prophecy. So could be a case that the golden centipedes down here are telling us that maybe this Golden Order fundamentalist religion, right? What is it? Kept as a fetish of Golden Order fundamentalists, especially those who hunt those who live in death. Such their founder churches are similar. You know, it could be a case that these ancient people had a very similar religious beliefs that use these symbols, or maybe they use the symbols for a different belief, or it's trying to tell us that Golden Order fundamentalists were down here. So far, only Golden Order fundamentalist that we've met is D. He's a hunter of those who live in death. We don't know anyone else. But it could be that maybe the explorers that were sent here, that we assume Radigan, who were sent down here, maybe they're Golden Order fundamentalists, and maybe that's what we're being told with that. I think that could be. I mean, they were put at Radigan's churches, so yeah, he has to be a Golden Order fundamentalist. So I guess part of their research, part of their, if they're hunting those who live in death, and those who live in death come from Deathroot, are they sending people down here to try and figure that out? You know, Radigan learns from the Crimson Seed Talisman, or the Cerulean Seed Talisman. He learns from the Cerulean Seed Talisman in the research hall that the Erd Tree was once perfect and eternal. Thus it was believed that Erd Tree seeds could not exist, but at the end of the Golden Age of the Erd Tree, Godwyn, well, we don't know if it's the end, but during the Golden Age of the Erd Tree, Godwyn is slain, and then we learn that he's buried into the roots, Deathroot starts spreading, the Erd Tree starts dying, we're not getting that dew and sap anymore. Alright, if the Erd Tree's not eternal, we should go investigate this place that existed before the Erd Tree. Okay, that makes sense to me. Send your Golden Order fundamentalists down here. Send your noble sorcerers. Send them down here. Let's figure out what the hell is going on. All right, found our map, the Ainsel River map. This has the same, it has the same, what do you call it? description as the Schiefer River map. 2 great rivers flow beneath the lands between the Schiefer and the Ainsel. This vast region is said to be the grave of civilizations that flourished before the Erd Tree. Multiple civilizations down here, flourishing before the Erd Tree, but now we're kind of getting the idea, and we'll talk to you in a second, buddy. Now we're kind of getting the idea that maybe before the Erd Tree, you have this civilization, and then this prophet comes along, and he says, throw away what you know of the old world. Remember, this is a map of Babylon. This is a map of the known world from Babylon, from real life, which is in between the Tigris and the Euphrates River in Mesopotamia, and Mesopotamia translates to the lands between 2 rivers. And then start worshiping the tree. The tree is coming. Maybe something like that. Or whatever. Your salvation is the tree. Forget about the known world. Let's look at the tree. And that kind of makes sense to me why we found those centipedes then. Those centipedes around a statue like this. If this is what the people were figuring out, they're like, okay, maybe there was a... if the Erd Tree is not perfect and eternal, where does it come from? How do you get an Erd Tree seed? And when was it planted? Did this guy have something to do with it? Could be. Now, we found our Ducus Durba. We found our silver fireflies, and we fought a silver monster. And look at this guy. This is a nomadic merchant. He's all in white. Where's your colors, buddy? This guy is not colored like the other ones. He's perfectly white.
Is someone there? A customer? Well, how long has it been?
You probably haven't sold anything since the ancient dynasty was here, right? How old are you, buddy? How long have you been down here? If this guy's part of the eternal plot, probably to possibly spread misinformation, to spread propaganda, to prepare people for a known future of the Erd Tree burning. Was he doing that for the people in the ancient dynasty and for the people up above? Like, were these happening at 2 different times? How many times have these merchants shown up? And what does he sell? Okay. Got a lot of cool stuff here. We're getting our gravity stone chunks. Wake of meteorite strikes. Let me just put this on my hotbar so I can keep referring to it. The Clayman's harpoon emits a faint light, deals magic damage, sharpened meteorite shards. Okay. So this place has meteorites hitting it. How can a meteorite hit it? It's underground. Probably wasn't always underground, okay? Probably wasn't always underground. This guy's selling chunks and fans. We already have a chunk. Let's buy a fan. Meteorites are landing here. This has a very similar glow and kind of a similar, let's buy 2. Let's use one of each, see what they look like. We don't need the holy pot. And we don't need this guy. Let's see what these look like. Yeah, very similar color. It's got purple lightning. It does a new sigil, little gravitational sigil. Oh, there you go. Okay, so the gravity stone chunk, same thing as that monster. Okay, I think we can deduce, since this is talking about meteorites, meteorite strike, that here, we'll buy another one, but look at the lines that come up. See that? Same thing as that monster up there. So that monster, maybe he came from space. If he came from space, he reminds me of the Volcran, from George R. Martin's Night Flyers, which is, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so we're getting an idea. That's a space monster in these ancient ruins. So, if I'm a Golden Order fundamentalist, I'm a research scholar. I'm sent here by Radigan. I find these men made of clay, and then I find a space monster. I'm thinking, whoa, this world got a little bit too crazy for me. I I don't know if I can make heads or tails of it.
Something else?
But that guy got far enough with a map. I'll have to look at the map. A nice lost ash of war. Duplication, passing of memories. That smithing master Hugh can learn. Interesting that it's Hugh, our misbegotten blacksmith, who that uses the item about thus does the copy pass into become a genuine oracle. Getting a lot of mimic stuff here. More celestial dew. I think if I use the celestial dew, I won't have it anymore. So I should buy one. So this guy's selling celestial dew. What else is he selling? Oh, he's got more of our cookbooks. He's got a new cookbook too. Okay, wow. And so exciting, so exciting. Okay, let's do the cookbook first. Thawfrost and stimulating. Thawfrost and stimulating. Alleviates frost. Frost accumulates gradually. Okay, and stimulating. Sleep accumulate. Okay. Wait. Let me look at the pictures of these. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. It's very exciting. How do we make Thawfrost? Crab eggs. Well, that makes sense because the crab eggs, I think, they're warm. Let me check the eggs. Let me check our eggs. Wait, I'm not looking in the right spot. Eggs of large crabs which dwell in the shallows. Nutritious food stuff that warms from within. The flavor is exquisite. Okay. Again, we're also getting these people are preparing, these nomadic merchants who, what is it called again? Knowledge for surviving in the face of utter scarcity. They're giving people the tools to be able to prevent frost buildup. So if there was frost, bleeding, rot, poison, if you have these cookbooks, you would be able to, last until eternity, maybe. Light purple ballast is made from cave moss, alleviates buildup of sleep. Sleep is tied to St. Trina. Sleep accumulates gradually, causing sudden fogginess and loss of FP once the threshold is reached, even if it does not force the afflicted to take into true slumber. Take one of these in a timely fashion to avoid such event. All right. And what do you need for that? Slumbering egg. So you you put the egg you make an omelet with cave moss and herba, and then you won't fall asleep. Again, we're theorizing that these people are giving information to survive, face of utter scarcity. That also seems a little prophetic to me.
Something else?
What else do you have? What's your other cookbook? Perfumer's Cookbook. A record of crafting techniques left by a depraved perfumer contains perilous techniques no ordinary physician would attempt. Okay, can make acid sprayless. If we look at the picture, we see 3 bottles. On the bottom, we see, looks like a Frenzy Flame Stone. Looks like a warming, the Frenzy Flame Sigil. And then kind of looks like poison there, too. Here, I'll show you the Frenzy stuff. Look at the bottom left. Kind of looks like the Rune Fragment with the 3-finger sigil. And we had, right here, kind of looks like that. No wonder they're depraved. And they make acid spray mist. Now, it's a perfumer. The first thing we get, I think we had mention of perfumers, came from the pollen. Throughout history, perfumers have prized this extremely fragrant form of Miranda pollen, not yet scattered into the air. We found these Miranda flowers even in Shifra. So, and these are born from, most likely from Erdleaf, like Erdleaf lands, and then it turns into the man-eating Miranda flowers. So, could be very old, these Miranda plants. I mean, they are very old, but the Erd tree could be much older too. The Erd tree could have flourished down here if we're finding Miranda flowers. What do they make? Perfume art. So we need Altus bloom, blooms in the Altus Plateau, Miranda powder, found by killing Miranda flowers, and formic rock. And what are these? Forbidden arts of the depraved perfumers, craftable within a perfume bottle. Uses FP to release an acidic mist from the user's mouth, damaging armaments and temporarily lowering attack powder. Perfume powder is held in the mouth to dissolve before being expelled. It was once a restorative art, so it's said. Okay. So before they were making acid spray mist by these depraved people, this was a restorative art. Since we're finding this down in the ancient dynasty area, maybe it was a restorative art back then. We don't know how old this practice is. We don't know how old this practice is. But that's very interesting that you're combining this Altus bloom, which blooms in the plateau. So why is it down here? We'll have to learn more about Altus bloom when we get it. Miranda flower, that's kind of like power of the Erd tree. Man-eating Miranda plants. And that Ainsel River and other places giant ants live. Yeah, very interesting. So I'm kind of getting and it's that acidic, damaging armaments. That acid, it's giving, like, acid isn't rot, but it is kind of decay. It's kind of giving me, like, where is it? Servants of rot kind of vibe. Those who dwell within poison know rot all too well. The death that begets life, that comes all equally. That is to say, it is the cycle of rebirth put into practice. Because the Miranda flowers, they spew poison. So it's kind of giving me a little bit of that. I'm kind of getting a little rot adjacent. So perhaps, like, the reason why it used to be restorative is because there's no flow to it. Like, you're holding on to it for too long, maybe. This culture definitely tied to Blue Dancer stuff. Definitely tied to Blue Dancer stuff. We were able to make soap, which is about cleaning off filth and other accumulations. This is, and poison buildup. We learned that one from the merchant over here. So I guess we're maybe seeing an opposite. Here we were given... Oh, he's abandoned. What's this guy called? He's a hermit. So this guy was teaching us cleanliness. This guy is not. We can also see the map here. So we came up here, and we got stuck by a waterfall here, came down this way, went around this way. There is something else up here. More waterfall. Definitely telling us that the water is coming from a higher region. This too. This one's actually going lower. So this is the lowest. Schiefer is the lowest. Has a lake. This is higher up, but there is somewhere higher up where this water is coming from. Just from looking at this, I think we see definitely more dams. Here's a dam here. There's a dam here. And this is our way to go. This is our path forward. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to end up here. But there is probably an Eternal City up there. All right. What else you got, buddy? Yes. All right. Let's buy this. Let's get dressed up. Let's talk about it. So this is for the prisoner starting class. The prisoner... Look at that. Okay. So first, right off the gate, a little Berserk reference. This is very similar to the helmet that Griffith wears while he's being tortured. It's also similar to just his, like, regular, like, Band of the Hawk helmet. And it's kind of very similar to his head when he turns into Femto. The prisoner, before he was a prisoner, was amongst royalty. He starts with a rapier. He starts with the Rift Shield. We don't have that yet. But he also starts with Magic Glint Blade, an old sorcery of the Carian royal family. Creates a sigil overhead from which an enemy seeking Glint Blade appears after a brief delay. Said to be the prototype of the sword failing sorceries wielded by royal enchanted knights. So this guy, the prisoner starting class, has a tie to Carian royalty. We have already started talking about before how the Carians, they mimic swords with magic. They have an old accord with the Crystallians, and their sigil looks like the Celian sigil, which is exactly the same as the Oracle Bubble sigil, the Claymen sigil, fake men. This guy's helmet is silver. If we were just to, you see what I'm saying? Getting the picture here? So what does it say? Iron masked force on a prisoner convicted of an appalling crime. Thick, heavy, and utterly stifling. Foul creation designed to torment the wearer, either slowly fermentating hatred within their heart, or a spiritual fervor that is near indistinguishable from it. Wow, okay, so the the thing about spiritual fervor, tying it to the spirits. This down here already a very spiritual place. We've kind of already figured that out. Magic is tied to the soul. So we have this noble outside of the lands between, a tarnished noble outside the lands between, who has a tie to the old Carian royalty and their enchanted knights. Similar to, we bought that spell from Muriel, so similar to Muriel. Tattered clothing worn by a prisoner convicted of appalling crime, never once washed, every fiber is filthy. And I think that's the same for this one. Never once washed, every fiber is filthy, the smell is beyond belief. Alright, well. This guy's soul is just getting rancid. So what am I trying to get at with this, that we found this down here? To me, if I was the Sellians, if I was the Eternals, and I have this plot involving prophecy and maybe burning the Erd Tree, and we need a tarnished, we know a tarnished is going to be part of that prophecy. And we don't want anyone to read our thoughts. You know, we don't want anyone to read our thoughts. We don't want the greater will of their fingers to know what's up with us. We would send out one of our own, outside the lands between, our own tarnished, far off in the future. So when they get revived by grace, then they can come back and do what needs to be done. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Like, that's the eternal plot. And Marika's the eternal. Our character was given Torrent, the spectral steed. Spectral, he's a ghost. So is Melina. Melina's a ghost, burned and bodiless. You know, as I'm seeing it, whoever, like the Eternals, the Carians, the Sellians, these Claymen, like, I'm seeing, like, are we being a puppet for their plot? We didn't choose the prisoner. We chose the prophet. So, you know, their guy wasn't picked, but who's to say? Who's to say? We're going to have to figure out more. You know, we're going, on behalf of Roger, we're going to investigate Lunar Princess Rani, who was part of the Knight of Black Knives, who orchestrated it, which kicked off, like, a lot of problems. Like, it's the catalyst for the shattering. So, I think we're seeing, like, was the plan prophesize a tree, get these ancient people to build a world for the tree, hide the prophecy, then share the prophecy. I guess you couldn't, the prophets are just seeing in their visions. It's not priests doing that, claymen. Build a world that requires the Erd Tree. Spread the faith through the churches. Spread the faith through these tiers. Give out runes, make people powerful. And then bring the runes back to the tree through Erd Tree burial. So you can have a system of, you know, a recycling system. You're not running out of runes. The economy can keep growing. You know, it has to go back into the Erd Tree economy. But one of the Carians marries a guy from the capital who goes on to become Elden Lord, and his daughter assassinates Godwyn the Golden using this ritual. Where's our key items? Using this starry ritual to take the rune of death, stolen rune of death from the Elden Ring, to kill him, and then spread it through the earth to create Deathroot, killing the Erd Tree, or at least weakening it. Then Godfrey's banished. Now you have this guy as the Elden Lord. What happens? What does he do? What does this guy do? He's a Golden Order fundamentalist. We know that. And this defies the logic of the Golden Order. So did he learn something and he was against the plot? Well, anyway, whatever happens, it leads to the shattering, and now our tarnish is here, and we have the Goldwork whistle. We have the whistle. We have the ring. It's a ring that Melina gave us. Melina gave us this ring. And now we're doing all this. And the prophecy is tied to us. It's tied to us. I mean, the prophecy painting was showing the Chapel of Anticipation. We are the prophet. You know, we know we're going to burn. The Erd Tree has to burn, and we're going to be involved with burning the Erd Tree. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. And there's also giant space monsters. So that's how I'm seeing this. Now, please let me know, do you think I'm grasping too much with just what we've learned so far? Because just based on like Eternal City, America the Eternal, finger readers are eternal. They're trying to get away from they're against the greater will and its vassal fingers, and you have these Eternals interpreting the fingers. Is this like, how does this fight God? You know what I'm saying? Like, like, well, America's the God queen, but the greater will, like, what is that? Like the ultimate God? How are you fighting that? Why fight the fingers? What's going on? I don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out. But here's our pieces so far. This is the plot I'm seeing. All right. Next episode, we're going to finish Ainsel River. Hope you enjoyed this one. All right. You know the drill. Let's do the thing.